Of all the many ways in which a filmmaker can reduce the quality of their work, the squandering of a good old montage sequence is perhaps one of the most offensively blatant ways to do so. When done correctly, this editing technique can have images or short shots put together, transforming into something greater than the sum of their parts. We'll be gliding through the years, looking at various attempts and styles of montage sequences, leading up to one of the best films from 2024. That film will be sure to contain a montage sequence which audiences will be talking about for a long time to come. If you enjoy the video, please leave a comment and subscribe for weekly uploads. This duel from the good, the bad, and the ugly is the classic example against modern montage sequences.
I really think that is the best moment in the history of cinema. I really can't imagine anybody ever topping it.
A rhythmic montage, functioning on rhythm and feel, crafted by visionary director Sergio Leone, who was deliberate, never rushing, but rather embracing the time needed to present this unforgettable sequence. His organization of all the chaotic energies is so masterful, it walks a razor's edge, preventing it from falling into the aimless pinball machine we recently find ourselves in when modern filmmakers throw together montages.
Bloody! It's all us, bloody!
With the oversaturation of content and media nowadays, it's not uncommon to see the montage sequence being carelessly used and wasted away. What recently reminded me of this lazy trend was watching the hit FX show The Bear. During one episode, we're kind of mindlessly following Chef Sydney as she visits local food hotspots, seeking inspiration to help create her new menu. There seems to be a particular dish on her mind, and to bring it to life, she looks to the Chicago landscape whilst bouncing between eateries. We are bombarded with these nostalgic tunes, and they too only exist to bounce off the walls of the chasm which is this episode. So in this montage, what really suggests Sydney's creativity for this aspiring dish of hers? The Chicago buildings? Introspective music? How about her childhood photos? These images are aimlessly crammed in, showing no indication as to who this character is and what any of this means to her. Let's take the sequence from The Bear and compare it to one of the most infamous head scratchers of a montage ever put to film.
Really?
Sony's Amazing Spider-Man 2. To really drive the point home, we should remind ourselves of the 4 lazy steps, typical when creating a very bad montage sequence.
Enemies are at your door, I'll carry you away from home. Like a drum, my heart never stops beating for you.
To prepare ourselves for the ugly of montage sequences, we could take what was once a great montage that ultimately got twisted and perverted into becoming anything but that. And this upcoming example stands as proof as to how music can elevate and even become necessary to a great montage, if given its purpose. The Rocky franchise stands as the pinnacle example of cinematic training montage sequences that rely on music. But could it be that a Disney animated film did the training montage even better? Disney's 1998 Mulan has it all in the Make a Man Out of You montage. The soundtrack's lyrics are so undeniably good at relating to the stakes of Mulan's plight that when we witness her triumph, the peak of emotion is that much higher.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
The montage serves its practical use of taking us through the passage of time necessary for the training without ever sacrificing the genuine success Mulan can gain by the strengths she already has within herself. So, what turns this into an ugly montage? Well, decades later, we see modern Disney completely sabotaging this fan favorite montage by cutting it out of the soundtrack and making something abysmal and totally forgettable.
We're going to make men out of every single one of you.
So what better way to inspire hope in moving far away from these horrible products conjured by recent mediocre filmmaking than by embracing a recent, beautifully crafted montage sequence.
Are you serious?
Honora took home the Palme d'Or at Cannes back in May, and once I had watched it in November, it became my biggest surprise film of the year. The sequence, which I constantly relive in my head, happens during the first act's climax, where the character Honora, a Brooklyn sex worker, impulsively takes the hands of a Russian oligarch's brat son in marriage. And from the very moment in which Honora is committed, a montage kicks off with Take That's Greatest Day track.
3 carats.
It's a song that resonates from plucking at the string in our psyches, which we all call nostalgia, set to the backdrop of incredible location lighting in Vegas. We, like Honora, are swept away during this all-time high moment that is doomed to crash. Her fantasy is summed up in this fleeting montage, and it's made more brilliant by what comes after. The audience, along with Honora, sit through the sobering consequences of her rash decision. Director, writer, and editor Sean Baker didn't mistakenly forge a 40-minute long, real-time sequence taking place in practically one room, where the two newlyweds are shot down back to reality.
Vanya, the fuck is going on?
And as painstaking as the situation is, it's wonderfully balanced with slapstick comedy that is unrelenting as the film progresses to an all-night bender in the streets of New York. Until the film's end, when there's nothing left to do but collapse from the unrelenting nature of the events, implying the possible hint of an arc from Honora. Or perhaps not. It's realistic and reinforces the significant impact of the earlier montage sequence, as the rest of the film lives in its fallout. Hence why it's worth mentioning.
It'll be a lot easier with that.
I hope you're able to take away something from this video, and one of those being that, unfortunately, the montage editing technique can become a double-edged sword, a crutch for filmmakers as opposed to an opportunity for original creation. It can feel like a lazy approach, a consistent reality in many films and shows with considerably larger budgets. And ultimately, it disrespects intelligent audiences who want fresh, quality entertainment to instead serve obedient product consumers who are at best nostalgia addicts. Let us hope more visionary filmmakers like Sean Baker stay busy in creating memorable sequences like what we got to witness from Honora.